Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News Today at 6 starts now.
Fearing for her life, a college student describes the moment she heard gunshots at Briarwood Mall.
And emergency rooms filling up. Metro Detroit hospitals are nearing capacity as COVID cases continue to surge across the state. The urgent warning from doctors.
And taking a look outside this morning, little sunshine yesterday, a little less today. We've got some clouds in the forecast, and our temperatures are going to try to hit 60 degrees. So it's going to feel a little like spring. To take a look here across the river.
Oh, I have full faith we can hit 60 degrees.
I do too. Just no sunshine with it, at least not very much today.
Well, you know, at least we got a little bit of sunshine yesterday. Good morning at 6 o'clock. I'm Priya Mann.
And I'm Grant Herms. Thanks for joining us here this morning at Local 4 News Today. Let's get right to Andrew, because Andrew, yesterday turned out to be pretty nice.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And today, very much similar to yesterday, with a few sprinkles to start off this morning. I mean, not that many. It's not very wet out there. You can easily still get around. Most areas are dry. But you can see a couple of sprinkles just now leaving St. Clair County as they continue to dissipate and move off to the east. There might be a couple of drips and drabs in here later on this morning and into the middle part of the day. But overall, it's still looking like a very pleasant Sunday. We're looking at temperatures that are a little higher than yesterday, nowhere near the freezing mark, upper 30s and low 40s for this morning, around 41 degrees in the next couple of hours. Now, despite the cloud cover, we'll still see temperatures rise to 60 degrees, even more. And the average high this time of year is 60 degrees. Sunrise this morning is going to be right after 6:45. We're still looking at temperatures that will continue to rise later this morning, easily into at least the low 50s by lunchtime. 42 right now under partly cloudy skies over at Metro Airport and a very gentle breeze. Temperatures a little higher than yesterday by a few degrees. It's 37 right now in Lapeer, 39 degrees over in Howell. So barely any precipitation today. Now later this week, a different story, and with lower temperatures, so we're still talking about the possibility of snow, like it or not. We'll talk more about that in your 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Time now is 6:02, and for a second week, Michigan leads the nation in COVID hospitalizations and case rates.
On Saturday, the state reported more than 5,500 new cases. That's 3,000 fewer than Friday, but it still wraps up the worst week for cases we've seen since November. Now, we lost another 69 Michiganders due to the virus, 60 of those identified in a review of records. Also, another grim milestone as the global death toll from COVID topped 3 million.
And this weekend, hospitals continue to be overwhelmed in Michigan, with one in St. Clair County actually turning away patients at its emergency room.
Our Larry Spurl has a warning from doctors at 2 major hospital systems.
We spoke with leaders at 2 hospitals, both here at DMC and Beaumont, and they tell us that the emergency rooms are almost reaching capacity. Meanwhile, state leaders are urging people to get vaccinated and stay safe.
Still is a requirement for people to wear masks, especially indoors. There still is a requirement for limitations on different types of gatherings and gatherings at certain types of venues and restaurants.
Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist wants to remind Michiganders Saturday night to still be safe as the positive COVID cases continue to go up. He got his first vaccine at Greater Grace Temple Saturday morning.
To demonstrate how important it is for all people, but especially black folks, especially people of color, to make the choice to get this vaccination.
Michigan is experiencing another surge of positive cases. That's putting some pressure on local hospitals.
The question is, are we going to have enough to accommodate this current surge?
That's a very important question, says Dr. Justin Skrinsky with Beaumont Health.
We would say the hospital is about 90 to 95% full right now.
That's forcing them to make room one way or the other.
If you look at some of our other hospitals in our system, for example, Troy and Grosse Pointe, I believe, they're already looking at setting up things like triage tents, outdoor treatment spaces, and that's to try to handle the overflow from the ER.
Dr. Patricia Wilkerson-Udebeck with Detroit Medical Center says they're seeing an uptick also, especially with younger people.
And I'd say anywhere from, mid-20s, early 30s to 50s. I can tell you we have seen an increase in pediatric patients that are coming into Children's Hospital of Michigan with COVID. And I think people are starting to let their guard down. They're outside. It's getting warmer. We cannot let our guard down.
Also, other hospitals in our area are taking drastic measures. For example, Lake Huron Medical Center told us that their emergency room is turning people away. Also, Port Huron Hospital is sending patients to other hospitals in that area. Reporting at DMC, Larry Spruill, Local 4.
And Governor Whitmer and Dr. Anthony Fauci will join Chuck Todd this morning and meet the press. The governor will address Michigan's surge in cases. You can catch it this morning at 10:30 here on Local 4, right after Flashpoint.
And this morning, we continue to learn more about the 8 people killed Thursday night at a FedEx facility in Indianapolis. Now we're hearing from the loved ones they leave behind. Kathy Park has the latest.
8 families grieving loved ones who went to work at this Indianapolis FedEx facility Thursday and never returned home. Gary Sakon lost his mother-in-law.
We were just planning about my daughter's birthday party gonna go held today, and she's supposed to take the day off the day she died.
We were gonna have a party at this time, and now we're arranging a funeral. It's hard. It's sad.
Rimpy Gur knew 2 of the victims, Amarjeet Sakon and Jasvinder Kaur. They weren't related by blood, but still considered each other family. Among the victims, half were members of the Sikh community.
All they wanted to do was just provide a good life to their family.
And heartache for the family of Samaria Blackwell, just 19 years old, an athlete who was active in her community, while John Weisert was just months away from celebrating his 50th wedding anniversary. Some employees and their families returned to retrieve their cars, riddled with bullet holes. Kristen Johnson's father was shot and is now recovering.
Looking at his car, he has 12 bullet holes in it. So the fact that he's even still alive is that's a lot.
The suspect was no stranger to law enforcement. According to the FBI, they were alerted by his own mother last March about possibly killing himself, attempting suicide by cop. They seized a shotgun at his home, which was not returned. His family breaking their silence, apologizing for this senseless tragedy, adding that they tried to get him the help he needed. A community shattered and still seeking answers.
They took his gun away. How come that kid had access to a gun again?
And that was Kathy Park reporting. Here at home, vigils for the victims will be taking place today, including one at the Plymouth Gurdwara on Schoolcraft Road. It begins at 1:30 and masks are mandatory.
The 17-year-old man is rushed to the hospital after being shot inside his car. It happened in the area of Joy Road and Southfield on Detroit's west side. Police tell us he was in his Dodge Dart when he was shot. We're also told he's going to be okay. Police are still looking for the shooter this morning. And 3 men are in the hospital after a shooting on Detroit's east side. It happened on Wilshire near East Outer Drive in Gratiot. One of the men shot is in critical condition. The other 2 are expected to be okay. So far, no arrests have been made. Anyone with information is asked to call Detroit police.
Employees and shoppers sharing their experience after someone opens fire at Briarwood Mall in Ann Arbor Friday afternoon. Police say a gunman shot a 19-year-old man inside the Van Mauer store. That 19-year-old will be okay. When the gunshot rang out, both shoppers and employees had to act fast and take cover.
Our loss prevention guy ended up telling us to go and hide in the very back office, which is like a really, really tiny room, like 6 feet by 6 feet, like a closet basically. And we were all sitting on the floor and on the desk in there in the pitch black darkness. I think at that point was when I started getting really anxious, when we moved into that back room and shut off all the lights and they told us to be quiet.
Police do not believe this was a random shooting. Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib calling for Congress to pass the Raise the Wage Act.
Tlaib served at a restaurant in Detroit highlighting for the need for Congress to end the sub-minimum wage. She says restaurant workers can't live paycheck to paycheck and is calling for an overall minimum wage increase to $15 an hour. Tlaib also addressed a recent tweet that sparked controversy in the wake of the death of Daunte Wright. She called for an end to policing.
The structure in place for policing has left more of our black neighbors and brown communities feeling so incredibly unsafe, and it's unfair. There's no accountability, and I know I'm not the only one, no matter where your stance is.
And Tlaib also called for things like child care and poverty services for children. We do have a lot more coming up for you on Local 4 News today.
Andrew, we are tracking a slight warm-up compared to yesterday.
That's right. Any type of warm-up we're happy to welcome, right? We have a slight warm-up today. Temperatures a little higher than yesterday. Feeling very much like springtime. Very few raindrops that are out there for now. Not much in the way of precipitation. But later this week, winter still wants to come back, and it will make an appearance. That and your 7-day forecast coming up.
Good morning. It was another bad night for the Tigers. We've got some highlights or lack of them coming up.